Since the shooting at Oxford High School back in November, dozens more have happened in places like Buffalo and Uvalde, Texas. These tragedies have started a very divisive debate in America about how to handle gun violence. Now, several members of the Oxford community are speaking out. They want to see what they say are common sense gun laws to be put in place to try to prevent these shootings from happening. But others view that as infringing on the rights of gun owners in our country. There was a time when Oxford's David Fitzpatrick would never have spoken out about an issue like this publicly. But he never imagined that on that day in November, he would find himself standing in the Oxford High School parking lot, not knowing if his daughter was safe. Now, thankfully, she did make it out, but the Fitzpatrick family will never be the same after that day. And now, they are taking a stand. On June 11th, they took part in the March for Our Lives rally in Oxford. David joined me that morning to talk about what can be done to prevent another family from experiencing what his did. And that conversation starts now. Why was it so important for you to come out to today's event?
A million reasons, particularly that everybody was affected by this. No matter where you stand, no one ever thought this could happen. It did, and we're all coming to grips with it. So anything we can do to support people that were affected more than us, which was pretty heavily, then we're here for it.
As you said, no one ever anticipates it happening, but you're wearing a March for Our Lives t-shirt, and obviously those shirts represent kids marching out against school shootings because they seem to always happen. It's becoming a trend in our society. And for you personally, what does March for Our Lives mean to you?
I think I'm still discovering that. Like a lot of the speakers said today, none of us were aware of this to the degree that we are now, and we're all still learning. So it means all kinds of things, but I think it's still a road of discovery. I really don't have all the answers, and I really don't know fully what it means, other than what most of the speakers said today I agree with. So I guess I would leave it at that. It's really eye-opening, and without things like this, I never would have known. So that's what it means to me.
As a father, when you see the events go on at places like Uvalde and Oxford and Buffalo and Parkland, what goes through your mind as a dad when you think about your kids?
Well, it's horrendous. I was in the parking lot, looking at the school and unable to reach my daughter as it was happening. And there's no worse feeling than that at that moment. So you can see these things on TV in different areas, and you can empathize with them, but you don't know. You just don't understand until you're in it. And then the after effects of it, what it does to people. Our daughters are altered for it's going to be a long time. And I just don't think that people who are against these kinds of common sense laws understand that, because they've never been in that position. You have to really flip the switch, you have to unfortunately go through it. And so as a father, I can tell you there's nothing worse. And ours weren't injured, only on the inside. So even that's bad. For the rest of the people who had their daughters and sons injured, it's unfathomable.
What can we do moving forward to prevent another Oxford, another Uvalde?
I think these are all good steps that were discussed today. It seems like the focus has been now on very simple solutions, very common sense solutions, and very non-threatening to gun ownership solutions. That's the best place to start. I don't think anything else, those would seem no-brainers, and anything beyond that is not feasible. So that's why they're focused on these, and I agree with them.
Since that day in November, the support of the community and the surrounding communities, all of Michigan and a lot of the country, responded to Oxford. Everybody started calling themselves Oxford Strong. What did that mean to you to see all that support coming in for this community?
unbelievable. It's this is a sleepy place, and to have that much care headed your direction and attention is overwhelming. It was fantastic. It shows that the majority of people in this country are really good people, and that's what they need to keep in mind. Everybody else, that this is not one side or the other. It's very at its core, we're still good people.
Where can Oxford go from here? What can this community do to build on this tragedy and to stand together as one?
The best thing it can do is what it's doing right now, but getting more people involved. I'm not an activist. I don't know the first thing about it. I don't like to be out in the spotlight. I don't have tolerance for the political process and sitting through board meetings and all of that's required. I don't have it, but I still am active and becoming more active, and it just takes more people like me to do that. All of the people who are activists are already involved. It takes people like me to get more involved.
You're taking a stand. What do you hope people will do, people specifically in power will do to take a stand alongside you?
I just hope they hear what was said today. They need to hear it, the emotion in people who have been affected, and just realize that these are people, and that this is not how an advanced first world country should behave. We're smarter than that. We're better than that. And they need to understand that the threat is not against guns. The threat is it's just putting some parameters around it. That's what they need to do. They need to just get some courage and stand up for what they know is right, but they're not doing.
David Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for making the time this week. Thank you for sharing your story. I know that was not easy. Like you said, you are not an activist. You are not somebody who likes to be a talker and be out in the spotlight, but you're here today. So you've taken that step, and I wish you and your family all the best. This is something that you'll never get over. Seeing what you did on that day, I know that I don't even want to be in your shoes having to go through that. But you've gone through it, and now you're taking a stand for something, and I commend you for that, sir. Thank you so much.
And thank you for being here. Just any word that gets this message out, any medium or channel is much appreciated. So thanks, and thanks for your support from our rival community. Very much appreciated.